Good morning, and a happy 1st of December from City Church. We were up early in our house today to open our Advent calendar. I imagine maybe you did the same. I want to tell you about a different kind of Advent calendar that we're doing this year. We know it's really easy to go all the way up to Christmas without really thinking about Christmas. And so one of our ministry trainees, Laura, is putting together an online Advent calendar with something every day. Maybe some creative arts, some spoken word, some music, just to help us to think about Jesus. And today we're going to kick off with a short thought from John's Gospel. There might be words that you know right from the beginning of John's Gospel in chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. I wonder if you've ever been in pitch darkness, like real pitch darkness, where no matter how long you stay there, your eyes don't adjust. There's no light. I remember once at school being in a bathroom, and one of my friends, for a joke, turned off the light. And there was no light. There were no windows. It was right in the middle of a building. There was no light coming through the door, and I couldn't see a thing. And until somebody else came into the room, I was lost. I was helpless. I couldn't do anything or see anything. Now imagine you're in a dark place, but you're not familiar with it. You don't know what's in there with you. Think what that would feel like. You might slip on a banana skin. You might put your hand down onto something sharp. There might be a wild animal in there with you. We can't live in darkness. Darkness to us represents danger and sorrow and death. Well, the Bible uses that picture of darkness to describe our condition as people. It says that we are in darkness. The world is dark, it's broken. Maybe you feel that darkness pressing in on you. Maybe the darkness of unemployment or uncertainty or loneliness or loss. The loss of people, the loss of future, the loss of hope. But not just darkness out there. The Bible says, actually, there's darkness in here. That all of us have sinned, we've turned away from God, and because of that, we have become ourselves filled with darkness that we cannot chase away. Well, John was writing those verses. John was a man who knew Jesus better than any other person on earth. And describing Jesus, John describes a man who was light. Not a man who looked like light, not a man who had some light, but a man who was light. And he says the light shines in the darkness. Just like in a dark room, if you have a light, the light doesn't stay to itself, the light spills out, it overflows. So John says Jesus really came into our world. God as a man, as one of us, he got involved in the grot and the mess of life in a dark world, and he shines. The verse said he has life in himself, God's life in him. And just like a light in a dark room, that life doesn't stay to himself. He doesn't keep it to himself. He comes into our darkness and that life spills out of him to other people. The light shines in the darkness. But not just shines. John says the light overcomes the darkness. If I light a match in a dark room, it chases away the darkness, but for a few moments, and the match burns down and the darkness wins again. And the world can feel like that. You see some light and then it's snuffed out. John says the light shines in the darkness and the darkness has not overcome it. John says the darkness cannot win against this light, against Jesus. So Jesus came into our darkness to experience it, but then took that darkness on himself, in himself, as he died in our place. So that for those who trust in him, their inner darkness could be replaced with his light, and to defeat the darkness, so that one day all the darkness in the world would be chased away. And that changes our experience of life. Because the end of the story is not the cold, dark night. It is not the match burning down or the batteries running out. The end of the story is not the night time, but the dawn. The light, says John, overcomes the darkness. That's the end of our story. Well, Christmas is a funny old time. I don't know what it's going to be like for you. Family tension, maybe. Uncertainty, definitely. Busyness, stress, possibly. This Christmas, turn to the light. This Advent, as we look forward, see the light coming into the darkness, shining in the darkness, overcoming the darkness. Turn to Jesus. Trust him. Love him. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome.